Hello everyone. As you are aware that Microsoft is actually changing the name of Azure Active Directory to Microsoft Entra ID. So in this video, we're going to look at what is actually going to change, when is it going to change, and what's not changing, and whether you have to take any actions or not. So let's jump straight into it and see what's actually going to change. So first of all, obviously the Azure AD is going to be renamed to Microsoft Entra ID. So let's see what's actually going to change. Now, as part of the change, all the service plans, for example, currently you have Azure AD free. The name will be changed to Microsoft Entra ID free. So it's just a name change and you don't need to take any action and there is no licensing changes happening. So, currently you have Azure AD Premium P1 license, which is included in your Microsoft 365 E3 licensing. So the name will be changed to Microsoft Entra ID P1. So instead of Azure AD, you will have Microsoft Entra ID. Same for the Azure AD Premium P2 license, which will be changed to Microsoft Entra ID P2. And same for the Azure AD External Identities. So the name will be changed to Microsoft Entra External ID. Right? So these are some of the changes. Now, the other service plans and SKUs which are going to change will be, similar to as we explained in the previous screen, like Azure Active Directory free will be changed to Microsoft Entra ID free, and same for the P1, P2, and the Azure Active Directory for Education will be Microsoft Entra ID for Education. The old display names for the product SKUs will change as well. So the Azure Active Directory will be Microsoft Entra ID, same for the government and the education offerings as well for all these Microsoft products. So these are the name changes which are actually happening for the service plans and SKUs. Now the tenant and the other services and features which are going to change. So for example, we currently call Azure AD tenant. The in 365 world, the tenant is called Azure AD tenant. Now that will be changed to Microsoft Entra tenant. So there is no ID in place. So this will be Microsoft Entra tenant. Same for Azure AD account will be Microsoft Entra account. So you will be familiar of calling all of your accounts which you create in Azure AD to for example, you just say, let's just create an Azure AD account. So you probably will be saying that let's just create a Microsoft Entra account. So similarly, Azure AD joined will be changed to Microsoft Entra joined. And the conditional access policies, right? So we used to call it Azure AD conditional access, which will now be changed to Microsoft Entra conditional access. So there is no ID in place for these services, right? It's just called Microsoft Entra. Now, what is not changing? The licensing model is not going to change. So you will have the same sort of licensing. As I said earlier, it's just a name change, right? Any depreciated features, functionalities, or services in the Microsoft 365 space, there is no change for those services. So they will remain the same because they're already depreciated. The name of Azure Active Directory B2C service is not going to change. That will still be called Azure Active Directory B2C service. Naming for your Windows Active Directory. So, you have Active Directory on-prem, which is Windows based. So that is not going to change. The naming for Azure Active Directory Federation services. Sorry, this is not Azure Active Directory, but naming for the Active Directory Federation services, we are familiar with ADFS, so that is not going to change. The name will remain the same. And same for the Active Directory Domain Services, which is ADDS. So the name is going to stay as it is. So these are the changes, right? Now, when is it going to take effect? Well, technically speaking, it has already started to take effect. So Microsoft is going to start changing the experience of all of these services starting from 11th of July. So, these services will start to take effect. I mean, the naming change will start to take effect after 30 days notification, which was kind of started on 11th of July, which is already started. So you will start to see, some of the new naming conventions in the Microsoft space. Display name for all of your SKUs and service plans will actually change on 1st of October 2023. So as I said earlier, you don't need to take any action. You just need to be familiar with the new naming conventions of Microsoft Entra or Microsoft Entra ID instead of Azure Active Directory. I hope this was, useful for you to understand what is actually changing. What has already changed? Let's just quickly have a look. So what has currently changed, right? For example, if you go to the admin center for your Microsoft 365 or Office 365 admin center, you will see under the admin centers, the name of Azure Active Directory has been changed to identity. So that's one of the changes which has already happened. So instead of Azure AD, it's now been renamed to identity. So if you click on identity, which actually takes you to the Microsoft Entra admin center, and you will be able to experience the new look and feel and the features, and how Microsoft has organized all of these services within Microsoft Entra ID. So for example, under identity, you have all of your users, groups, devices, and the governance, the protection, and they have further created some categories. For example, protection, you have all of your identity protection, conditional access, authentication methods, all of those features are properly categorized into Microsoft Entra. So I hope this was useful. And if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.